All Chair William Beetham says farmers need to be prepared for delays.
Farmers also might need to think about, what if I do get delayed 3 weeks because plants are closed due to COVID, and maybe have 3 weeks feed up their sleeve. But the key part about it is just to get plans in place, communicate with the processors.
William Beetham says feed levels around the country are good, so the delays shouldn't cause too many problems. China's President Xi Jinping is pledging to donate 1 billion additional coronavirus vaccine doses to Africa. Mr. Xi says 600 million will be sent directly and the rest will be delivered by other means, including through investing in vaccine production sites in Africa. Less than 7% of Africa's population is fully vaccinated. Twitter has announced its co-founder and chief executive Jack Dorsey is stepping down from his position as chief executive. He'll be replaced by Chief Technology Officer Parag Agrawal. Our correspondent Nick Harper reports.
The news comes a year and a half after stakeholder Elliott Management attempted to force Jack Dorsey out, arguing he was not focused on the company. Dorsey is also CEO of digital payments company Square. Shares in Twitter jumped 9% at the open on the expected announcement, but trading was halted pending confirmation of that change of CEO. Jack Dorsey helped to set up Twitter back in 2006. The next CEO will now need to meet Twitter's ambitious goals of doubling annual revenue by 2023.
A species of tropical bee from Costa Rica has evolved an extra tooth for biting flesh. It's also developed a gut that closely resembles that of vultures. Laura Figueroa has been studying these radical meat-eating bees.
In the tropical forest, there's so much competition for resources, and over evolutionary time, some of these bees just decided to take advantage of this other resource. There are records of them on dead snakes, on frogs, on small mammals. They're only going for freshly deceased animals. They're not trying to eat anything that can run away.
They are the only bees in the world that have evolved to consume food sources that are not plant-based. That's the news.
A heavy horse.
She only had 3 weeks off and she put on 35 kilos. I don't know about you, but I know how hard it is to get weight off.
A mass drop of muscles.
It's really exciting to see a 60-tonne of putai going back into Auckland's inner harbour.
And meat-eating bees.
They're only going for freshly deceased animals. They're not trying to eat anything that can run away. So we don't have anything to worry about.
What's the buzz? Morning Report, weekdays from 6 on RNZ National.
Now the forecast from Met Service to midnight tomorrow for Northland, Auckland and Coromandel, partly cloudy with isolated showers. From Waikato and Bay of Plenty in the central high country to Taranaki, rain becoming patchy this afternoon and clearing tomorrow morning. A few showers tomorrow afternoon or evening. Gisborne, Hawke's Bay and Wairarapa mostly cloudy with occasional rain. Chance of thunderstorms in Gisborne and Hawke's Bay this afternoon and evening, gradually easing tomorrow. Whanganui to Wellington, rain or drizzle and low cloud, clearing tomorrow morning. Nelson, Marlborough and Buller mostly cloudy with a few showers. Some showers may be heavy in the ranges in the afternoons with thunderstorms possible today. Westland and Fiordland mainly fine. Canterbury, Otago and Southland low cloud and drizzle morning and night. Retreating to the coast in the afternoons, isolated showers inland. Chatham Islands partly cloudy with a few showers tomorrow morning. We'll have the long range forecast at 12:30. You're listening to RNZ National. It's 11 after midday.
And you're with Midday Reports. Te Pūrongo o te Poutūtanga. I'm Max Toll. National Party MPs will this afternoon seal the doors on a caucus meeting to select a new leader after Judith Collins was rolled last week. RNZ spoke to MPs as they arrived at Parliament this morning.
No, we'll just see what the options are and we'll make a good decision, I'm sure.
So look, we're a party that believes in democracy and it's very important that all of our caucus have an opportunity to think these things through. Today's the day we'll select a leader.
Look, this is a caucus matter and we'll be making that decision later today on who's going to lead the National Party.
RNZ's political editor Jane Patterson joins us now from Parliament. Kia ora, Jane. Can you give us an idea of what will be happening right now?
Kia ora, Max. Well, we've got MPs who have been coming in a steady flow to Parliament. It is recess, of course, so normally MPs wouldn't be around here, but they've all come back to the capital for this vote today. So it's looking like a two-horse race between Simon Bridges and Christopher Luxon. That's what we expect at 3 o'clock for them to go in to present their case and take that leadership to a vote to the caucus, and then they would go on to elect the deputy. At this stage, it sounds like the numbers are still pretty tight, but Christopher Luxon is seen as having a bit of an advantage as they go into the vote this afternoon.
You know, Chris Luxon has been touted as a future leader of the National Party for some time, but really he's only been an MP for a little over a year. Is he ready?
Well, that is part of the disadvantage, I suppose, for his leadership contest and his pitch, because he is a very new MP, and we have seen before MPs like David Shearer and more recently Todd Muller coming into that opposition leader role without the years in Parliament that some other leaders have had. He comes obviously from a very senior business position from Air New Zealand, but that's going to be one of the things that he has to actually convince the caucus that despite that lack of political experience, he has the life and business experience to be able to step in and lead the party.
OK, the meeting is due to begin at 3 o'clock this afternoon, but when do you think National might have a new leader?
Well, hopefully not too soon after that, Max. I imagine it will be relatively quick, the actual leadership part of it, the leader vote. There'll be the two candidates. We're not hearing of anybody else that's a realistic contender, so they'll do that. The deputy may take a little bit longer, but then afterwards there will be a media conference, and we're just hearing that there are two venues booked. There is the LCC, which is the lovely kind of wooden room where you see these leadership candidates come often after recent contests in the last couple of years up to the podiums, but also there's a second venue booked, and that's the banquet hall, which is the big venue room at the bottom of the Beehive, and they've been booked depending on who wins. We're not quite sure who's booked what, but that's an interesting thing too. So we're not even sure where we're going to be once that leadership vote is taken this afternoon.
OK, we'll be listening. Thank you. That's our political editor, Jane Patterson. 3 police officers shot yesterday in West Auckland and another hit by a fleeing car. Violence in parts of the city seems to be rising, and particularly gang violence and the willingness of gang members to pull out their guns and use them. A lot of people no longer feel safe, and the police union is again calling for cops to be armed. Alf Filipaina is a Manukau councillor and joins us now. Kia ora, Alf. Clearly heightened tensions in the gang world right now. We've heard about gang members being deported to New Zealand from Australia. But what do you think's going on?
Firstly, kia ora, and thank you for the opportunity. Look, yes, there's gang tensions. Yes, our community are feeling unsafe and scared. And when you end up getting two opposing gangs trying to move into one of the other's areas, you're going to get tensions. As a result, you have gangs that are willing to use and to carry firearms, and guess who's caught in the middle? It's our community. And also the police. They're caught in the middle, as you saw yesterday. So, we just need to be working together as much as we can, because I've been living in this community anyway since 1960 in Māngere, but worked in the area since 1978. So I know they're scared because I'm getting the calls from people who live in the south, but also I feel for the community in West Auckland as a result of incidents that have happened previously, but also as a result of yesterday.
Yeah, I called it the gang world, but clearly the gang world is overlapping with people's lives at the moment. But look, you're a former cop. Do you think police need to change their approach?
No, look, I just think, for me, knowing the situation around getting armed offender squads out and the delay in that reaches sometimes up to an hour. But no, I personally thought, and I've read the document around the evaluation of armed response teams, but Look, I'm hoping that the new initiative that's been launched by the government with the police around the tactical response teams, I'm hoping that they will be on the scene quicker than what it would have happened if we had the old armed offender situation and getting those staff who are trained to then go out to the scene.
Okay.
That's what I'm hoping.
Absolutely. Kia ora for your time. Sorry, just run out of it there. But that is Al Filipaina, a Manukau councillor. The country is due to enter the traffic light system red and orange this Friday. That means vaccine passes and masks will be essential for us to live as freely as possible. But it comes as COVID spreads down the country. At 1 o'clock today, a new case in Nelson will be officially added to the tally. The published locations of interest for the area go back as far as November the 19th. Nelson's Mayor, Rachel Rees, is with us now. Kia ora. And this case has apparently been out and about for a week and a half already, November the 19th. What do we know about it?
Yes, we're seeing the COVID tracing results coming through now, and I'm sure that the team will be working hard on those today to try and establish all of the linkages. The geographic area is sort of across the urban area around Tasman Bay, and not an unusual sort of geographic area for someone living in our region, but certainly we'll be watching the places of interest being added to the list in the coming days.
Yeah, obviously the traffic light system coming in Friday, but a new case in the community. How do you think people are feeling?
Look, we've been really well prepared for this. Health have done excellent planning and coordination with all of the local partners, with councils, with iwi, with MSD and police. And so the preparation is there. I'm confident the system is going to do what it should. But inevitably, we knew there would be cases, and I think that's what we should all prepare for now as we go past the elimination strategy into responding and managing COVID in the community. I think for our region, look, it's a reminder that it's critical to be wearing those masks, to be scanning. If you're feeling unwell, we're really encouraging people to ring Healthline and have those conversations and get advice on whether you get tested today. And of course, we still have people who are encouraging to get vaccinated. We're not at the full 90% yet. So our tourism business has put together an amazing prize draw, and we're encouraging anyone to get in that draw if you come down and get your first vaccination before the 5th of December. So big motivation out there for people. If you just haven't got round to getting vaccinated, it's a reminder that you need to do that today or tomorrow. Time to get the shot.
Just quickly, what's the price?
The prize is an amazing package from our tourism sector. You can have a cable bay adventure on their Skywire. We've got accommodation out in Able Tasman. We've got swim with dolphins, all sorts of things. So big incentive.
Fantastic. Not quickly, but fantastic. Thank you, Rachel. That's Nelson's Mayor, Rachel Rees. Hopefully Anand won't be annoyed. He's here with RNZ Business. Kia ora, Anand. It seems KiwiSaver providers have weathered the pandemic storm.
Kia ora to you, Max. Yes, the COVID outbreak, resulting lockdowns and financial market volatility have not dented the growth of KiwiSaver investment or membership. A survey by the Financial Services Council shows funds rising more than 20% to nearly $91 billion and membership rising close to 3 million. The Council's Chief Executive, Richard Clippen, says KiwiSaver has weathered the pressures and volatility caused by COVID-19.
The best type of investor is a patient one. Markets will change, they will gyrate, things will turn up that we are uncertain about, and often what that means is markets will fall or rise. At the moment they are falling because of the new Delta variant. The best decision for consumers is stay alert, stay focused and stay patient and ride it out.
And some significant changes come into effect for KiwiSaver tomorrow. The number of default providers shrinks from 9 to 6. Those people affected will be distributed to new providers, and the default fund will now be a balanced fund, which over the long term will give better returns than the current conservative. The 4 big fibre optic cable wholesalers will need to disclose more information about their pricing, costs and quality control measures under new requirements. The Commerce Commission's new rules cover Chorus, Enable Networks, North Power Fibre and Tuatahi First Fibre. However, only Chorus will also be subject to additional price and quality controls, which will begin in the new year. Telecommunications Commissioner Tristan Gilbertson says experience shows information disclosure is a powerful tool in limiting excessive profits and ensuring services are delivered to the quality demanded by consumers. He says Chorus is by far the biggest in the market, with a 70% share of the market.
The regime is designed to ensure a level playing field and to ensure that regulation replicates as closely as possible the outcomes that we would expect to see in a workably competitive market. So it's a first for fibre, but not a first in terms of the approach generally, which has a strong baseline of experience there in electricity, gas and airports.
Reliance on ultra-fast broadband connectivity shows no sign of letting up, according to data released by Chorus. The average Auckland home and small business increased data usage by 63% last month, while the national average increased by 57% over October 2019. Well, Spark is the latest big company to take out sustainability-linked loans tied to its environmental and diversity performance. It's arranged 3 sustainability-linked loans worth $425 million based on cutting greenhouse gas emissions and diversity. Spark's finance director, Stephen Knight, says if the company doesn't meet its goals, the interest rates are higher, and if the targets are met, the rates are lower.
I can't be specific about the amounts, but what it does do is it does ensure that we have financing that is linked to the achievement of our sustainability targets, and it's a really important measure to help drive focus into achievement of that. We also realise it's only one of many things that we will need to do. There are lots of steps on this journey, but this is a really good, important one to help us on that way.
When asked if the move was simply greenwashing, Stephen Knight says Spark has other plans underway to meet its targets. And a shortage of accountants is fueling more acquisitions in the sector. Small business brokerage firm ABC Business Sales says the number of deals done over the past 6 months is up 15% on a year ago, with prices also up by a similar amount. Managing Director Chris Small says one reason for the increased activity is firms looking to expand through acquiring complementary businesses.
Air New Zealand recovering a bit after yesterday. It's also up 1% at $1.54. Auckland Airport's a little bit weaker at $7.78. Chorus up 2 at $6.62. EBOS is up 13 at $36.18. Fletcher Building's unchanged at $6.70. Fisher & Paykel Healthcare up 16 cents at $33.16. Infratil's up 8.5 cents at $7.96. Main Freight up $0.50 at $89. Mercury's up 8 cents at $5.93. Meridian up 9 at $4.58. Port of Tauranga is up 12 cents or almost 2% at $6.74. And Ryman up 33 cents at $12.43.
OK, we'll go across the Tasman now. How's the Australian looking?
Look, they're up by a similar amount at 0.82% or up 60 points at 7,299. Look, over there, the resources, banks and technology stocks are stronger. ANZ Bank's up 43, $27.05. BHP up 48 cents at 39.05. Commonwealth Bank of Australia up 64 at 94.42. CSL's up 1% at $309.77. NAB up 37 at 27.57. Westpac Bank's up 14 at $21.06. And Xero up 3%.
He had confidence in his batting.
I know my process. I know this is what I've done in training. I back myself to do this, and you kind of just go through not necessarily going through the motions, but you're kind of pretty focused and you're right there. But I was trying not to look at the scoreboard, how many overs to go. I was just thinking, okay, ball after ball, ball after ball. This is what I need to do.
And the second test starts in Mumbai on Friday. The football ferns are optimistic of finishing their year on a high, heading into tonight's second match against the Korea Republic. New Zealand suffered their 8th straight loss as Korea came from behind to win last weekend's first match 2-1. But veteran squad member Ria Percival says their performance showed the ferns are progressing in the right direction.
The first half was probably some of the best football we've played in a very long time. So I can see that.
Tasman Mayor Tim King hopes the outcome will be like the last case in Blenheim earlier this year, but there are concerns lingering in the back of his mind. And Nelson's Mayor Rachel Rees told Midday Report it's time for anyone who's not vaccinated to get it done. National Party MPs are readying for a leadership vote from 3 o'clock this afternoon. Simon Bridges and Christopher Luxon are set to go head-to-head. Many in the party are keen to avoid a divisive vote at the caucus meeting, but neither contender appears to have yet backed thunderstorms in Gisborne and Hawke's Bay this afternoon and evening, gradually easing tomorrow. Whanganui to Wellington, rain or drizzle and low cloud, clearing tomorrow morning. Nelson, Marlborough and Buller, mostly cloudy with a few showers. Some showers may be heavy for the ranges in the afternoons, with thunderstorms possible today. Westland and Fiordland mainly fine. Canterbury, Otago and Southland, low cloud and drizzle morning and night, retreating to the coast in the afternoons with isolated showers inland. Chatham Islands partly cloudy and a few showers tomorrow morning. Now on to the outlook for the following 3 days. This is Thursday through to Saturday. The North Island, Te Ika a Maui on Thursdays, mostly cloudy with a few showers. Saturday, the North Island for Hawke's Bay and Gisborne. Friday, generally cloudy with a few showers, mainly afternoon and evening. Saturday, cloud and showers. The South Island, Te Waipounamu, Thursdays mostly
stock, and then farmers will need to ensure that they can deliver that stock on time and not hold it back to put on extra weight. And farmers also might need to think about, what if I do get delayed 3 weeks because plants are closed due to COVID, and maybe have 3 weeks feed up their sleeve.
This project in Eastern Bay of Plenty will help create jobs for locals. The Whangaparaoa Māori Lands Trust, with help from the Ministry of Primary Industries and Plant and Food Research, is exploring the potential of their whenua near Tehirau. The project, which started in 2019, involves the owners of 25 Māori land blocks, which cover 18,000 hectares of land, a third of which is suitable for livestock, horticulture or arable farming. Potential land uses were researched, and this month small trial plots of kumara, peanuts and edamame beans were planted.
I've got everyone here. Safety first. I won't go too long or you're going to get strained holding that. All right. Kia ora everyone. I thought that I would just start by acknowledging why I'm here in Kirikiriroa today. Today I wanted to acknowledge that across the Waikato there's been restrictions over a number of weeks that they've experienced in the same way that Auckland has, and I wanted to come and acknowledge the huge amount of effort that has gone in by local businesses, by our healthcare providers, by community to keep one another safe during that period and to come out the other side of it. Of course, Waikato moved into level 2 for a time before we move into the traffic light, and I think that's acknowledgement of the huge amount of effort that went in here to control household level who is and who isn't vaccinated. And of course, that data is held by some but not all. Again, we share the goal to get as many people vaccinated as possible, and between our providers and the Ministry of Health, I'm very keen that we find a way through. There are some who don't want their data provided, but I think we all have an interest in making sure that people are safe.
So what are you doing specifically about that though? Because ProCare in Auckland has actually got people knocking on doors. Why is that not happening in a region?
And that's because, as I say, there are providers that do have that information, but some providers have come in and sought it as well. And so some don't want their information shared with multiple providers. But we all have the goal of making sure that people are safe, that we're reaching them individually and offering them a vaccine. So that's where the Ministry of Health has tried to find a way through that satisfies everyone. It means for those providers, not everyone has individual data, but they do know the areas where we have lower vaccination rates, and that's where they're going in and
We have to reach 90% vaccination before the area goes into orange?
No, of course, what we're looking at across New Zealand is just good, high, solid vaccination rates throughout this pandemic have had very careful and cautious border controls, and they've served us well. And you can see now with the emergence of a variant, with many other countries either reinstating or creating border controls, we already have ours in place. We've done that while still having, if I recall, up to 190,000 people come through our borders safely. So we have maintained our MIQ. All our international arrivals are still coming through it, and we, of course, continue to honour the bookings that we have with New Zealanders offshore.
Prime Minister, Omicron. Australia is looking at reducing the time between the second and third dose of the booster
For the
dose
booster
of the
shot,
vaccine.
yeah.
Should we be considering something the same here?
We always take the advice of our experts. It served us really well, and so they were the ones that advised us to offer a booster protection. Equally, those within Auckland, we've got rates as high as 90% double vaccinated. We're asking them to either be vaccinated or tested, and of course we're checking the compliance of that. We're doing everything we can to keep people safe, but I would ask that they work closely with police on any further work that they'd like done around our boundaries.
So you might be getting involved if they choose to put a border in place?
This is an issue that I have absolute confidence and trust in the ability of the police to work with local community in determining how to check the compliance of that ask that we have of travellers over the summer to the north.
Prime Minister, Lady Chideti Moxon is disappointed along with other Māori health providers with the inequity of
their health, and at the same time working very hard to protect their livelihoods. Our plan has been about both, and we've been world leading in that regard.
Lady Chideti and others in Māori Initiative medical centres are going to the Waitangi Tribunal in terms of receiving data.
Yes.
What do you say to that? And will this health centre, Te Koho, will they receive this data?
So the health centre do have data. What they're looking for is that at an individual level. And some providers have that, but some providers want additional access to it as well. Look, I welcome support in helping to resolve these issues, because we've got two competing demands, some who are seeking for their privacy to be maintained and others who wish to be able to access the information. Our goal is the same though. We want to vaccinate our people. We want people to be safe. And I welcome any help and support in resolving some of those issues.
Prime Minister, Māori are some of the most infected, hospitalised by Delta and Aotearoa, while also being the least vaccinated. Do you accept that way in the country? Even in the traffic light system, we are putting Māori at risk.
No, I think we have to look, I think, specifically at what changes are being made. We are in a pandemic and the economic impacts of it. My message to whoever takes on the mantle is just remember how important it is to focus on the things that New Zealand wants us focused on.
Prime Minister, are you concerned about the escalated crime wave in Auckland, particularly attacks on police?
Well, look, I don't think I would go so far to characterise it in that way. But of course, I think we have to constantly be mindful of the environment that our police are operating in. And in fact, recently we have committed, at the instigation of the work done by the police themselves, significant funding towards tactical response and safety provisions to ensure in the changing environment that they are working in, that they are kept safe. So that was a move proudly supported by Cabinet.
And you think police have enough resources to do that?